10, 9, ignition sequence start.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Welcome. Orbit Sports is powered by W Energy, the official fuel for staying locked in all game long. We're talking clean energy, no sugar, no crash, no nonsense. Just smooth, focused, whether you're breaking down game film, grinding on the job site, or calling out bad takes from the cheap seats. If you're trying to stay sharp from kickoff to the final whistle, W's in your corner. Head over to w.gg and use code ORBITHSV. That's ORBITHSV to save on your order. W Energy. Keep your game in orbit.
Welcome to the Orbit Sports Podcast presented by Shotgun Sports Network. I'm Daniel.
I'm Frazier.
Strap in. We're ready for launch. So let's dive straight into it. So springtime, we'll spring into the action from the weekend. The Trash Pandas opening weekend seemed to have gone pretty well. It felt like a decent showing of support for the Pandas and some really great baseball overall. Friday night, we had all the things. We had a drum line that played for the crowd outside as well as inside the stadium. A flyover from the United States Air Force, fireworks. I mean, we really got the works for opening weekend. It was a really close one early, 2-1, and the Trash Pandas seemed to be doing really, really well. I think the really big changing point in this game was by Burke in the fourth inning. He hits a solo bomb in the fourth, and pitching seemed to kind of struggle there for Gordon. Keith, the next batter, walks, and the Shuckers hit a home run off the bat of Bo V. Gordon would walk two more batters before the manager would make a pitching change, and we'd bring in Espinoza. Gordon pitched 3 innings, giving up 4 runs on 6 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. That's not really the stats you want to have from your pitcher on opening weekend. That's a lot in 3 innings. He threw 68 pitches with only 33 for strikes, so less than half of his pitches were for strikes. It seemed like he really had a hard time finding his spots at the plate. He faced 16 batters, and I think that moving the pitch and change to Espinoza, I think that was a guy that really I'd like to highlight here. He's a veteran. He kind of got everything together for them and kind of put them into the direction that they needed to head. Veteran guy, 11-14 overall record in his minor league career. Overall ERA of 4.27. He's pitched a lot of innings, 208 2/3, and he's given up 113 runs, over 189 hits. The key here is 261 strikeouts. That's a lot of strikeouts. That's over 1 an inning. That's a good percentage to have over 1 an inning in baseball. His fastball ranges 90 to 95, so he can really put it in there. He's got really good command, obviously. He's got some other weapons in his arsenal too. He's got a breaking ball, really good movement with a slider and a really nice changeup. He can really take some off there and get some guys to swing on those. Look for the Trash Pandas to lean on him a lot more as a long relief guy when they get into some trouble early into the games like they did on Friday. He went 2 2/3. He gave up 1 run on 2 hits with 4 strikeouts. He threw 42 pitches, and 30 of those were strikes. So again, this is a guy that's going to dominate the strike zone. He's going to make guys swing, and sometimes that works in your favor, and sometimes they just barrel you up, and there's nothing that you can really do about that. The game would stay tied. We get to the 7th inning stretch for the Pandas, and they would absolutely explode with some offense of their own in the 8th inning. Flint would come through with the bases loaded and drill a double, scoring 2 and keeping runners in scoring position. Ben Goebel singles to bring home goal, and Flint's at third now. So we've got a 1-run game, and this would be a late game miracle if they could pull this one off. I mean, they went down, they kind of rallied back. This was a very tight game. At this point, the crowd is back into it. And as a home team, that's what you want. You want the home crowd at your back, loud, rowdy, making it hard. They were electric. The Thunder Sticks are booming. The Trash Pandas would hit into a double play, but Flint would score. Tie ball game. With a fielder's choice after a walk, the Shuckers would score a run, and that run, unfortunately, would be the difference maker as we made it into extra innings. I'm extremely proud of these boys to rally back. They didn't lay down. They didn't give up. They didn't say, well, we'll just get them tomorrow. They 100% rallied together, said, hey, we're still in there. Let's go get them. Talking about other guys, I think Flint is a guy that we're going to talk a lot about this season. If he doesn't get called up right away, and I think that's going to be the key, is how far further up is he going to climb? He's obviously a star for the Trash Pandas. He's a great batter. He's a great fielder. Beautiful swing. He doesn't do too much at the plate, and he takes the ball and puts it where he's given. He's not looking to pull an outside pitch. It's not always about hitting the long ball. He takes what's given, and that's what makes a great hitter a great hitter.
Yeah, from what I've seen, he's very patient at the plate.
Yes.
He's so patient. He looks at the pitcher and can almost just tell what they're about to throw.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is about locating hand position. So you know when a pitcher has his fingers over the ball, you're looking more curved because of the follow through. When his hands a little more behind the ball, you're looking at fastball, changeup. If it's more towards the inside, great hitters can pick up that hand and what is going to happen based on the hand. And that's really what you're looking for when that ball's released. Where is the hand? Pinpoint the hand and follow the spin.
Yeah, well, if Tucker Flint keeps up what he's doing, I think personally in the next couple of weeks he's going to get called up.
I think it'll probably be a little bit longer than a couple weeks, but I can 100% see him in a year or so playing for the Angels, for sure. I think he definitely can make it up and has big league stuff if he can continue his success.
Yeah.
The Trash Pandas finished the game going 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position, and I think that's kind of one of the difference makers in this game. That's not a stat you really want to get on the backside of. That's when you have guys in scoring position, you've got to hit the ball.
Yeah.
You can't strike out. You've got to find ways to get the ball through holes. And some days it's just not your day. The baseball guys, they talk about the baseball has eyes. And sometimes it's blind. It doesn't have the eyes. You hit the ball hard right to somebody. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. And I think that's one of the things that I love about baseball is that it's one of those games that you could do everything right and it still go wrong. And you just have to shake it off and get it the next pitch. Get it the next play. You've got some guys there and they aren't able to make solid contact to bring them home. And I think especially in a game this tight, 6 men left on base would be huge at any point, considering it became a 1-run game. I mean, any one of those big hits with 1 or 2 guys in scoring position gets you tied up, gets you ahead, gives you a lead, and that changes your strategy as far as pitching and designated hitters, pinch runners. I mean, so many changes can happen with a lead, and I think that they were a little flat at some points, and that's okay. It's opening weekend. There's a lot of nerves. We're coming a big weekend. Seeing them bounce back as they did shows that they have a lot of grit, that they have a lot of cohesiveness as a team to trust in each other to do what they need to do.
Yeah, I feel like just seeing them play, I think they're a whole lot better team this year than they were last year.
Absolutely. So we move into Saturday, and that was in our Trash Panda era game. The Trash Pandas did some pretty interesting things with the Taylor Swift nod. Throwing out to the first pitch was the lead guitarist and vocalist for Taylor Swift. I think the hilarious part for me was that they put Sprocket on all of her album covers and kind of did a play there on the video board, and they used her exes as the Shuckers players. So I think that was pretty funny, and that was a hats off to the Trash Pandas media team. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
The offense for the Trash Pandas was really shot out of a rocket here, and they really lived up to the Rocket City name. 2 crooked number innings to start the game, and they were off to the races. They did it in the first inning with 2 outs. And for an opponent's defense, that's demoralizing. When you have 2 outs, your goal is to get off the field. And a lot of people outside of baseball don't understand how difficult it is to sit in that field when you've got 2 outs and It just seems like everything keeps going wrong. You get close to an out, you can't get it. A single here, a walk there. It's exhausting being in the field and constantly moving all the time. It's frustrating when you're so close to getting off the field. You get down to 2 strikes and a guy hits a single. You get down to 2 strikes again, a walk. I mean, all these things that happen, it's demoralizing, it's frustrating, and it does mentally wear out a team. The Shuckers scored in the first inning, and the Trash Pandas would lock them down with zeros on the board all the way until the 6th inning. At this point, the Trash Pandas already had 9 runs. Nothing flashy, no kind of gorilla ball. We're not going to hit tons of home runs. Yes, home runs are great, but good hitting and moving guys on base is what wins ball games. Everybody loves to see the home runs. Everybody loves to see the jog around the bases. I would rather have a group of guys that can consistently hit the ball for singles and doubles and steal bases and bunt and play the small ball, move guys around, make the defense create errors, put them in a position to be uncomfortable, get them out of place. You know, when you have a runner at first base and you have 1 out, your defense automatically goes into a double play defense. So your second baseman, your shortstop, they drop back, they're tight to the bag because they want to turn 2. Then you put on a hit and run. So now your second baseman is moving towards the bag. You really open up that side. You punch it down the side. Now you've got runners at first and third. It just creates so many opportunities, and especially if that guy at first is fast. With the runner at third, you kind of get a free stolen base there. Now you got runners at second and third. There's so many situations that this creates, and when you can constantly keep recreating them and wearing down a defense, it really helps out a lot. This game did have some fireworks, and I don't mean the ones at the end of the game. Gustavo hits a bomb in the 4th with 1 man on, and Flint gets himself a solo in the 5th. I mean, the Shuckers really tried to chip away at this lead, and they just weren't able to come close to closing this deficit. And with that win, we now have the rubber setup game for Easter Sunday. It felt like they really cleaned some things up in this game. They went 6 for 12 with runners in scoring position, and this is a lot closer to where you want to be in that category. You're about 50%. You're batting about 500 on that, right along with only leaving 2 runners on base. Leaving guys on base is killers for winning ball games. Being able to get guys in scoring position, get guys home, that's how you win ball games. So the Sunday rubber game gave the Trash Pandas a really good chance to start the season with an opening weekend series win. And especially at home, that's something every team wants to do. You can't get the sweep, let's win the series. Let's start out and show our fans at home that we can get this W. This one turned out to be a really good game. The wind was blowing out, and you could just tell from the beginning, you just had to get under it a little bit, and she was gone. And this had a lot of fireworks. And that's exactly how it started. Eric Brown Jr., he hit one along with another one from the Shuckers that would hold the early lead. However, the Trash Pandas would absolutely erupt in the 3rd inning for 5 runs with a 2-run bomb from Herod Goal. But home runs wouldn't account for all of the runs that they would score. They hit more doubles than anything on this day with 4 and 3 singles. They tallied another 4 runs in the 5th on walks and clutch hitting. The Trash Pandas finished the game with 3 runners left on base, and that's how you win ball games, just like we said for Saturday. It's crucial, and I can't say it enough, that critical hitting, not leaving runners on base, not making a lot of defensive errors. I mean, that's really how you structurally win ball games or put yourself in a great position to. However, the Shuckers hit a lot of bombs. They hit 5 and 3 back to back to back. And one of them, holy smokes, he crushed that. That ball went 431 and was on a rope. It left in a hurry.
I mean, he hit that ball, and you hear the backdrop, just a thump from it.
Yeah, I mean, he crushed that. And credit to the Trash Pandas pitching. They forced a lot of pop-ups in this game, and it really limited the offense for the Shuckers to just being home runs. I mean, they scored 6 of their runs on just home runs. Gonzalez led the way pitching with 82 pitches, 48 of them going for strikes. He pitched 4 2/3 innings. gave up 4 runs on 7 hits with only 2 strikeouts. Zabala got the win. He went 1 inning with 1 run on 2 hits and no strikeouts. And he's a guy that really, I think, moving in down the line, we'll see a lot more of. I think he's a dominant pitcher. I really do. I think he's a very dominant pitcher. I just think he needs a little bit longer of a go. Fortunately, they didn't really need him in this one. Devon with the save seemed to be the most dominant pitcher of the group today. He had pretty good control, and he was able to punch some guys out in his 1 1/3. He gave up no runs on 1 hit and 2 strikeouts, slamming the door on the Shuckers, making a possible comeback. This game seemed way ahead for a while, and it got really tight towards the end of the game, so I was proud to see the pitching staff come together and really limit the quality hits that the Shuckers were able to get. But also, you have to kind of tip your hat to the Shuckers. They didn't give up in this game. They continued to battle and fight back. Looking ahead, the Trash Pandas take on the road to the Knoxville Smokies to take on for an extended series, playing Tuesday through Sunday. And this should be interesting to see how this team handles going on the road against what looks like to be a pretty good team based on going against the Birmingham Barons in their opening series, in which the Barons won. Something to touch on here is that the Barons have a huge target on their back that everybody wants. Everybody wants what they have, the championship. The Barons have gone back-to-back in the Southern League and taken the championship, and no one in the league except for Birmingham wants to see them get the three-peat. So Easter Sunday, we got to spend the game together. It was nice to spend Easter Sunday together. I know Saturday you were able to go with Tabby. So what was your takes? I didn't get to go Saturday, so what was your takes as far as in my Trash Panda era?
I thought it was hilarious that they put the X's up on the board. Thought that was so hilarious. And there was one moment where the player went to go swing the bat at the ball, and it slipped out of his hand, and it went towards the dugout. That was they had to duck like this. I thought that was a good thing. I mean, the Trash Pandas just seemed to play inspired versus Friday. They just we lost a close one. Let's come out here and just bomb because at the end, if you see the Biloxi Shuckers left 14 on base.
Yeah. That hurts.
That really hurt Biloxi.
Yeah.
But then, watching it Sunday, both teams were just right there on point because Biloxi said, we left 14 on base. We can't come out and do that again. And, just learning from you how to do the score sheet, that was really cool. I knew some of the terms, but not all of the terms, like 1B, 2B.
Right.
But then, knowing each count of the player, like pitcher's number 1, catcher's number 2, and all those numbers, that's very important too. And I didn't realize how important that was for when you have to do from, let's say the shortstop covers in to second and throws it to first base. Just knowing the numbers for that.
6-3.
So that you know how to put it on the score sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, the score sheet is always something that I always thought was really cool. I got to learn in high school. My freshman year, my coach just gave me the book and said, here, read the instruction page and do the book because you're not playing this year, bud. And so that was my job. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like riding a bike. You don't forget it. Once you start doing it and you start doodling in it, and it's ingrained from there.
I think I might do that at home. Just watching the game, taking notes, just doing that to learn it.
So I want to get the actual book. I know that we were doing it on the sheet, and I feel like the sheet is so much harder.
Yeah, it did seem a little challenging.
The book is funner, in my opinion. When you have the stolen bases, you get to write it in the spot where when they go from first to second, you can write the SB there. And when they score all the way around, you color the diamond. And it's a lot more fun than that sheet is, in my opinion. I mean, the sheet does its job, don't get me wrong, but the book also helps explain a lot of it too. You can keep track of balls and strikes a little bit better. We were keeping track of first pitch strikes, and that was something that I felt the Trash Pandas did a fairly well job at, was getting that first pitch strike. And as a pitcher, that's something you want to pride yourself in is first pitch strike, getting ahead in the count, and being able to dominate the count to be able to do what you want to do. Yeah,
I think overall there's some things the pitching coach will work on with a lot of the players.
Yeah.
And I think that the pitching did look really solid for the most part. But, as the game goes on, the pitcher wears down, they get tired, and you just have to swap them out.
Yeah.
But So the question I do have for you is
Sure.
is like I was noticing they were just swapping out pitchers just all the time. Like
Yeah.
why? Why were they just continuing to do that?
It depends. Sometimes you want to pitch to matchups. You know, if you've got a lefty who can't hit right-handers, or I won't say can't, but struggles against right-handers, or a right-hander that struggles against left-handers, and you just kind of need to get out of an inning. You've got a guy who's kind of struggling. It's really early in the season as well, so they're trying to get a lot of guys work. And you don't, when you stick with a pitcher for a while and another pitcher for a while, you burn him up. He's done for the weekend at that point. It's really hard to turn around and pitch Friday and Sunday again. But when you get shorter outings from guys, you're able to use them a little bit more. It's just a short bullpen session is what they call it. There's a lot of, you'll see it a lot in college where Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they have defined starters. This guy pitches every Friday, this guy every Saturday, this guy every Sunday. And then on midweek games, they'll use the whole bullpen. You know, each guy will pitch 2 innings, and it's mainly just to keep their arms fresh, keep them working out. So it kind of just depends on the pitching coach's mentality of what he likes to see from his pitchers. And it could be something to where, you know, a guy's been doing well and he wants to put him in the game situation. Maybe he's on a pitch count from an injury, or, I mean, there's a lot of different things. Some guys, it depends on your relievers. Some guys are short relievers. Some guys are long relievers. Some guys are just closers. It really just depends on the guys. Some guys you can, like Espinoza, for instance, that's a guy that you can put in the 4th, carry you to the 7th, put a short reliever in to get you to the 8th-ish, and then closer, done game.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of just depends on your pitching staff and your rotation.
So knowing that this is a development type league,
Yeah.
is this good for players that are okay in college to come into this league to work their way up and
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like just for instance, like
Double A is hard to get to because you have single A,
Yeah.
and then you have higher A, and then double A, and then you'll move to triple, and then from trips it's
because I noticed there was a few players on the team that seemed like the coaches needed to work with them a little more. So
and that's what this league's for.
yeah,
It's definitely a developmental league, and finding guys that fit into your program, and not just in the double A, as far as the whole organization. You know, the Trash Pandas are their own club, but they're underneath the Angels organization. So,
but what I was really impressed with most was just how the stadium looked.
yeah.
Compared to the Huntsville Star Stadium, this stadium just took it outright. I mean, it was such
Gorgeous.
such a beautiful, and they're doing that construction over there for the visitors on the other side.
Yeah.
Found that out, and thought that was pretty cool. They're adding that for the visitor teams, just to say, hey, this is what we want to show. We want to actually give the visitors a little something to have when they come here, and that's really nice to do because most places don't get that.
No. I mean, it was when I played ball, it was always your home stadium's always your nicest as far as your accommodations in the locker rooms. It sucked going to some visiting places. It was, I mean, slums in the visiting locker rooms. I think that they're doing a really good job of creating a big professional type atmosphere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a packed crowd Friday night. Saturday night seemed like they had a bunch of people. And even for it being Easter Sunday, they still had a lot of people in the stadium. I think they said they had over 3,000, if I remember correctly, for Sunday's game and for the Easter egg hunt. And I love getting to see all the kids and getting kids involved and getting them favorite players and idols and people that they look up to is super important for the sport as well as for our youth.
And then Sprocket wearing the bunny ears on the left ear.
That was funny.
Yeah,
that was definitely
great.
funny.
I thought that was great.
Did Sprocket do anything with the Taylor Swift night? Was there anything special he did?
He had there was a shirt that said "In My Sprocket Era" on.
Yeah, he had his Sprocket Era shirt on.
He had his Sprocket Era shirt on.
That's awesome.
And it's kind of funny because Tucker Flint's number is 22, and it was Taylor Swift night, and he had a great night, so he was feeling 22. He was feeling it. I mean, he had a great from that night to his birthday.
Yeah.
Like I think he was the star of the weekend. I really think he was, and I think his leadership will help the other players to really. I think the coaches will feed off that too. Say, hey, you're a good leader on the team, and you are going to help these guys.
Yep, I can 100% agree with that.
And I really think the new coaching staff has done lights out over the offseason to really help. The pitching looks better, the hitting looks better. Yeah, we're hitting home runs, but home runs are good. But like you said, like I would rather see them get like a single or a double. And I've seen more of them stealing bases a little bit more. Trying to do that. And just to see all that excitement. Even on TV, it was very fun. Because on TV, I would sit there and I would watch them pitch. And I would try to guess what it was. That's a strike. That's a ball. Just be able to angle the camera gets on it. It was just fun to do that.
And I feel they've got a really good camera angle. I know in the booth, it's really hard to be able to call balls and strikes. It's kind of just guessing based on the catcher's movement. But when I looked at the camera angle on the TV, like
you could see it. Man,
you could see everything. So I think that's really awesome that they have such a good camera angle, because it's not always like that in some of these ballparks, especially not in the lower A like this.
But I'm just excited to learn more about baseball from you this season, and possibly getting out to one or two more games, maybe more games. But soccer's my thing. So. But just hearing feedback from you from the baseball, it's gonna be fun watching on TV. I think they really got a good setup this year with the Valley Sports Live, and also on 31.6 over the antenna. I think they got really really good setup with that.
It'll be very interesting to see how they do this year.
I think they may not win, which I really hope they do. But they're going to be a whole lot better quality team than they have been in the past.
I think they're going to be a better team for sure, and I don't think they're going to be the team they were last year. I think they're more of a top half of I'd love to see them win it. It's very early it's way too early to make those predictions on where they're going to land, but I would guess that they're going to be more of a top half of the Southern League than they were a bottom half.
From what I understand, that from just some of the fans and just some people I've heard from, that they set the record for the most losses.
Yeah.
And that just got a lot of people down. I think this year, just seeing how they won the opening weekend, got a lot of fans like, wow, this team is actually playing better with the new coaching staff, and they're really trying to get this team to be a better quality team.
And the thing that I thought was crazy is I went to a few Trash Pandas game last year, and they still pack a crowd. Friday, Saturday nights, it's still packed. Like, it didn't matter what they were doing, how the record was. Like, people just love baseball in Huntsville and going to the games and seeing the fireworks and getting out with their family in the nice air. And, I mean, who doesn't like a night out in the ballpark?
Yeah, and the kids love the mascot.
Yeah.
They really do. The kids, like, overall, just all the mascots, the kids love them.
The kids have a nice hill down right field line, too, where they play. And it's really cool to see all them try to catch foul balls, and it's definitely a family-friendly park. It definitely is. And I do like to see that, because it is important to keep youth in sports.
Yes.
In all sports. Hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, football. I mean, it is important.
Yeah.
It teaches a lot. And that's what I learned growing up and playing so many sports, is you learn so much about being able to work through issues and to not quit, not give up, teamwork, and just dealing with adversities, and just learning how sometimes you just got to power through even when it's hard, even when it sucks. It's super important, I think, for the youth to play sports.
Yeah.
So we had some great hockey over the weekend in what feels like must-win games. The Havoc traveled up to the Quad City, who was fighting to maintain a chance to get a playoff spot. And the Havoc were needing to win to maintain having home advantage. This was a super clean game, in my opinion. No fights. Besides the first period, they settled in and really, really limited their penalties. Nathan Burke, who we know used to play for the Havoc, he definitely had some business to handle, and he really played very hard against Havoc in this weekend, and he really showed that how he could have fit in there. I still don't think he fits in with this roster. No. I think that they ended up gaining a lot more talent. And no knock to Nathan Burke on that. I just think that we have just more talented guys on the roster than what Burke has to offer. But he scored the first goal of the game for Quad City. Austin Alger would be right behind him, though, and get a goal to tie it up in the first period. And the second period is where I felt Huntsville really imposed their will on this Quad City team. Giovanni Procopio would start it off in the second period, getting a goal of his own. I thought it was awesome to see Gio getting back on the score sheet again this week, being productive on offense, being productive on defense. And then on the power play, Austin Alger would get his second goal of the night, and Quad City would answer the goal with one of their own. They're down, Quad City's down, 1 goal heading into the third period, trying to keep their season hopes alive. And you could tell these boys were fighting. I mean, they were really trying to keep their season alive. However, Austin Alger would get the hat trick, get the third goal on the road. Late into the third period, the Storm would again pull one off and pull the goalie off in hopes to get the game back and try to reach this into overtime however they could. But Gio Procopio would score an empty netter, and that absolutely shut the door on the game, on Quad City season, and it kept Huntsville in second place and looked towards the next game.
Well, you know who was really cheering for the Havoc? That was Knoxville.
Yes.
Because that was Knoxville's chance to get in.
Yes.
And, I mean, they were excited when the Havoc won. And now they're so excited, because coming up in the playoffs, the Havoc have to play them.
Well, Mundinger actually came back over this weekend.
He did.
It was super nice to see Mundinger back. Yeah, we'll get into more on Mundinger. The Havoc were 1 for 2 on power plays and 3 for 3 on penalty kills. And again, I think this is an area where the Havoc absolutely dominate is on penalty kills. Their defense in the very late third of this season has been locked down. I mean, it's been super hard to get goals, much less power play opportunities against them.
1 for 2 on power plays, I think that's good for them.
That's a good stat that they've improved on. The Havoc dominated who they are against Quad City, and they were able to show who they are. They skated tremendously. They didn't have to play a Roanoke-style game. They were able to pass cleanly, skate cleanly, play defense cleanly. Super proud of them for staying focused and getting the W on the road. A lot of hype coming off of the huge series that we just finished, going on the road, everything that you're playing for. They stayed focused. And we move into Saturday. Quad City is out, and you would have to think that at this point, they're just trying to spoil stuff. Like, you have to be in the mindset of we're just going to wreck somebody's season. But this was another clean game. No huge penalties, no fights. The Havoc did a great job maintaining their composure. And Quad City isn't really a team that is going to get into a lot of fights. They're not. They're more of a finesse, we're going to beat you on the back and forth style of this game. And the Havoc did a great job staying focused on the task, winning and securing the second seed. So in the first period, we get a goal from Gio Procopio, who, like I said, he's really stepped up his game as far as getting on the scoring sheet and staying there. And I think that's another big difference maker is that the Havoc are getting goals and assists from people who they typically haven't been getting a lot of that offensive production from. And this game started out a little slow, in my opinion. The passes weren't as crisp as they have been. They made some mistakes, but they got themselves out of it. They were able to not crumble and play defense and kind of get back to their identity. I think the slowness and the not so crisp might have been a little bit of tired. I mean, they played a lot of games in a short amount of time with the 3 games last weekend and then now the long travel to Quad City.
Yeah, I think Quad City was just playing desperate in a way because they have more shots on goal than us, and you see their shots were going wider than ours.
Yeah.
We had less shots, but ours were more honed in on target. And that's what the Havoc have really been focused on.
Yeah.
Quad City was just trying, but our defense, as you said, has just been too strong.
Yeah, you said they were outshot, and Quad City outshot the Havoc 13-10 in the first period. Yeah. I mean, you're spot on with that one. But just as any Havoc fan would expect any less, the Havoc come out in the second period. We all know that the Havoc are not always the fastest of starters. You know, it kind of takes them a little bit sometimes to kind of get going, and they dominate like this number 2 team. They held Quad City to 9 shots for this entire period, and that says a lot, a whole lot for a team. And then something happened that I feel we spoke into existence. Cole Golka gets in the score sheet. Congratulations, buddy. I know you've been working super hard for that. And I think that this is something that you could see the weight lift when he gets the goal. He turns around, he smiles, the whole team comes over and is smiling. And I think that's kind of what he needed perfectly to move into the playoffs.
Yeah, he just was a whole different player after that moment.
Yeah, he really was.
Because you could tell just from when we had the interaction with him at the end of your party, he just seemed down about scoring.
Yeah.
And his just attitude and his demeanor was just not the same.
Yeah, he definitely
scored. You see that shoulders roll back, the chest poke out, and the team rallies around him, and they're just ready to go.
Yeah, he definitely played with a more uplifted spirit.
Do you know what I have to say? That was a Golka. That was a classic Golka right there.
I really am. I'm so happy for him. I know that's been something that's really been weighing on him, and he's been trying to find ways to contribute, and I feel like he's done a great job continuing to find ways to contribute, but nothing feels better than scoring goals.
Yes, I know.
So the third period will be where things got a little bit out of hand on the scoring sheet, and the Havoc continued to just lean and impose their will on Quad City. And they continued to push the puck and shoot, and they scored 4 goals in the third period, and everybody kind of got one here. Cameron Cook got one on a power play. Austin Alger would get one. Connor Fries would get one. And then Cole Reginato would round out the season, the last goal of 2025-2026 regular season for the Havoc. Brian Wilson was so close to a shutout, and I knew it because I was watching the time, but I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to jinx it, but unfortunately, with 1:40 left, they sneak one by him. The Havoc played well on both ends of the ice. They went 5 for 6 on penalty kills and 1 for 3 on power plays. Again, the defense 5 for 6 on penalty kills. I mean, when you're in that position 6 times to only give up 1 goal is lights out, in my opinion. Quad City did bring a new goalie in for the night, and I'm sure that didn't help them as far as for that game. It did help the Havoc as a team since they were firing all cylinders, and I feel like once they were able to figure out how to get one past them, it was just doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, I think the Quad City at a certain point when we were just scoring and going off on them, I think they were just playing deflated. They just didn't seem like the Quad City that we have known. But you have to think, though, a lot of the Havoc players, including Don Procopio himself, has said that Quad City feels like a second home. That atmosphere up there just feels similar to the Von Braun Center, and the downtown just makes them feel comfortable. So they just played with this comfortable, like just this comfortableness about their game.
And, the Havoc have just seemed to have Quad City's number, though. I mean, they're 14-2-1 in the last 5 seasons. I mean, 17 games you win 14 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a dominant stat. But let's talk playoffs. So those wins, we have second place. We have home ice advantage. And after all the games were played, we found out that the Havoc were going to be playing the Knoxville Ice Bears. Stephen Mundinger got back into the pipes against Birmingham, like we said. It was nice to see him back on the ice again. I'm sure that rest really helped him. However, as much as I like Stephen Mundinger,
Solid guy.
the man takes up 7/8 of the goal.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how the offense responds with having a bigger guy in the goal. And we'll get to find that out April 10th in Knoxville. I'm a little worried about this game, only because of the last time we went to Knoxville. It did not play out well. But the team that went to Knoxville last isn't the same team that's going to Knoxville this time.
Nope.
They're playing completely different. And then we'll return home on the 11th, and we'll get Knoxville at home, and then we have an if necessary game on April 13th, and we don't know if that one's needed or not yet, and hopefully it's not. Hopefully we get Knoxville, we win one, we come home.
2 for 2. We want 2 for 2.
That's it. Get some rest and move on. I do think that it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I understand that Knoxville is the number 7 team, but I think that they always play Huntsville hard.
Yeah, I think what really got them down in the seedings was they didn't have their star goalie because he had that injury.
Yeah.
I think if he would have been in there, they would have been a higher seeded team, and they would have really played.
I could have seen them being a 5th seed.
Yeah,
for
I could
sure.
have too.
All right, so we got playoffs. We know the bracket. We know who's in. So let's do some rapid fire.
Oh, let's do it.
All right, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Peoria Macon.
I got Peoria.
I do agree with you with Peoria, but I think Macon's going to give them trouble.
Josh Boyko might start playing good. Might.
Huntsville, Knoxville.
I have Huntsville.
I have Huntsville as well. Roanoke, Birmingham.
I'm going to disagree with what I think you're going to pick, and I'm going to say Birmingham.
Oh, not so fast.
Because of Hayden Stewart. I think Hayden Stewart's going to play his best game, and I think that they're going to win.
No, sir. I have to disagree with you strongly. I really do. Roanoke they've been playing really, really good hockey, and I think the physical game that they play is going to be too much for Birmingham. I won't say take it away from you about Hayden Stewart. I just think that this is going to be an absolute brawl. And the only team that I've seen this year that can take playing an absolute brawl for 60 minutes is Roanoke. They can absolutely lay the wood for 60 minutes long and be perfectly okay for the next game. I don't know.
It's the playoffs.
It is the playoffs.
Are different. It's a different animal. I think Birmingham's going to take it to them. I really do. It's going to be toe for toe. I mean, it's going to be an eye for an eye, an arm for an arm. They're going to play tough against them because I've seen this Birmingham team play in the season. I know that they can play tough enough to stand tall against Roanoke.
Evansville, Pensacola.
I am going to pick Pensacola.
After their last weekend series, I'm going to Evansville. I just think Evansville has the home advantage with this one. I think that Evansville has been playing really well. I just don't think Pensacola's got enough get up and go. Evansville has shown to be a team that's gotten hot lately, especially at home. I can't go against Evansville in this one.
Evansville, where's your crowd?
I think it's a little bit different for playoffs. I think for playoffs, they come out and they support them regardless. I mean, everybody loves postseason. It doesn't matter the sport.
But I'm sorry, I have to go. With the South teams on these, I gotta go with my Huntsville, Birmingham, Pensacola. Gotta go for it.
So, if you had to pick one game that you feel is going to be probably the biggest one of the weekend that you should keep an eye on and watch, what game is it?
Really, I can't pick just one.
Okay.
I have two: Huntsville, Knoxville, and Roanoke, Birmingham. Those are the two that I'm really keeping an eye on.
I think the Roanoke Birmingham is probably the biggest one to keep an eye out on. I think that's going to be a super chippy game. I think there's going to be quite a few fights. I think that the Bulls have really turned it around from early in the season, and you really have to tip your hat to the Bulls. They struggled early in the season, and they've really turned it around and gotten their season on track. They fought their way to be where they are, and I don't think that they're done being scrappy yet.
You think there might be a goalie fight?
I don't think there'll be a goalie fight. I don't think Hayden Stewart is that kind of guy.
No.
I just don't. Well, it feels like forever since we got to talk about some HCFC action. but they're coming April 11th, and they take on Chicago Fire 2 FC.
Which I'm excited about because me and Tabby will be at the game.
Yep.
We'll get to experience the atmosphere. Yeah, Tabby's already experienced the atmosphere, but I'm going to get to really hone it in, bring some feedback to you, and really just give you some more information about the team.
Nice.
Because I'm looking forward to seeing the new guys and how they mesh with the team.
Yeah.
Because, it's like the Havoc got their 3 new guys, and they fit right in, just like putting a glove on. And these 3 new guys, from just seeing the exhibition match with UAH, I think they really will have some chances to play. I don't know if they'll start right away, but I think they'll be subbed in late, and they'll be able to benefit.
So do you think that the HCFC gets ahead enough to be able to get these guys some playing time early like that?
I think it's going to be too tight of a match because the teams are right there neck and neck. I think the HCFC is just trying to work on a lot of things with their starting guys, just so they can get with their transitions from offense to defense, learning how to score goals more, and just honing in all the things that they were struggling with on the road, and just continue that.
So I think that this game can kind of go 2 ways. I think that they've either had too much rest, and it's going to make them a little rusty kind of out the gate, or this has been a good amount of rest, and they've got to work on a bunch of things. And you're really going to see a lot different of a team. Yeah,
well, all the teams, have had rest. So, Chicago's Fire 2 is having travel, and going from Chicago to Alabama. That's a direct shot down I-65 pretty much, but that's just after having all that rest and then traveling. That's just, I don't know if Chicago Fire 2 will really be able to knock the rust off of that, or they could come out just all ablazing and just take Huntsville town. But I think just Huntsville enjoys that atmosphere, having the drum brigade out, seeing the rocket, the blue smoke, and they're just going to take themselves out into the Earth's orbit, and they're just going to take Chicago Fire 2 and send them on back home with a loss.
So looking at the stats, this should be a close matchup. I feel there's not a lot that separate one from the other in really any of the categories. But my question for you is why are corners and total crosses so important in matchups like these?
Well, corners are, for a lot of teams, from what I've seen, they're really hard to get them right. You have to have the lines set up just right. I've seen some successful corners. I've seen players bicycle the ball into the goal from corners, and it just can be difficult sometimes because sometimes I've seen them overshoot. So corners are really important because it gives you that chance to really find your guys that can help you in those situations to score.
So is this something that is practiced a lot in soccer, or is this something that you just kind of take it when it goes?
It's one of those in the moment things you just have to do because you have to look like you're probably a good 30 yards away at that point. And, if you can imagine a football field being 30 yards away from there and you having to see what their defense is doing in the moment and who's actually going to be open to kick it.
Okay.
Because the other team's going to have a solid line of players.
Right.
And their goal is to jump that solid line up to head that ball out. Or the goalie for the other team can come in and punch the ball out. I've seen that happen a lot.
That's interesting. So what about total crosses? Why are total crosses so important?
I mean, total crosses just... the more you have, the better you seem to play.
Okay. What's one thing that you think that HCFC needs to do exceptionally well in order for them to succeed in this match?
Just feeding back off what their coaching staff has said when Tabby got to interview them, transitions from offense to defense. That's one thing that they have ultimately seemed to struggle with. And I think in the exhibition match, you saw that they did work on that because you could see their transitions were smoother. If you don't have a smooth transition from offense to defense, then you're just looking like a bunch of ants scattered around the field, and the other team can come right through you because you don't have your line set. So the ref is trying to look for, hey, where's the line at, so I can know where to stand and run with the team. Because, that ref has to run up and down the sidelines with that flag.
Right.
And if you're not transitioning properly, then that's a chance for the other team to score a goal quickly. That's a breakaway moment.
So I can't wait to hear your take as far as the environment, the atmosphere, the game in general at Wicks Family Field. I'll be at the Havoc game, so I'm sorry that you have to miss some playoff hockey, but
hey, it's okay. I get a drum brigade. You don't get that.
I don't get a drum brigade unless I make one. But I think that looking into the summer, we've got a lot to look forward to with HCFC, the Trash Pandas, and the fireworks shows. And, during the national anthem, they're actually shooting the flares.
Yes.
And during the national anthem, and I think that we've got a lot of cool experiences coming our way this summer, with or without hockey. Trash Pandas is going to be an interesting one to watch and see how they develop. Unfortunately, hockey's going to come to an end.
Yeah, it's going to come to an end.
And we'll pick up some soccer, and I'll be able to make it out to some of these soccer games because I really want to see that environment and be able to experience that. I think that's all we've got for this week, Fraser. Anything you want to add?
One thing we didn't do. You know whose birthday it was this weekend?
Whose birthday?
Tucker Flint.
It was Tucker Flint's birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday to Tucker Flint.
Happy birthday, buddy. And good job playing this weekend.
Yes,
Hit
sir.
some bombs, and we were so proud of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything on the HCFC front?
Well, on the HCFC front, they're gonna play hard. Play hard. I'm looking forward to this game. Looking forward to just seeing the environment. I'm looking forward to it.
And there's a fun run, right? There's a 5K fun run?
Yes, there's a 5K fun run before. So I'll be there a little bit early to cover the fun run.
Yeah.
And get some
Are you going to be in it?
No, I'm not going to be in the fun run. I am not in shape. But I do have a goal to get back into shape to do a 5K eventually.
I'm going to fun run to the hot dogs.
Fun run to the hot dogs. Well, no, I'm going to enjoy that, seeing the fun run, seeing how many people come out, how many kids actually get involved with it.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of kids don't run a fun run. So maybe some cross-country people that are in high school doing cross-country that may come out and do the fun run.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to covering it and looking forward to seeing Tabby's article about the whole event. Because, she had done some fantastic articles. She did the article about the Trash Pandas this past weekend.
Yep.
And it was trending like really hot on the website.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about all the things she highlighted in that.
Yes, that was a really great article, and I think she covered it really well. I mean, she's really great with her words. I got to give her credit for that.
Yeah, I don't write like she does.
No.
If I did, I'd write articles, but I don't. That's why I'm here doing the podcast.
Right. Well, Fraser, anything else, buddy?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, until next week, stay strapped in. You're in orbit.